Good. Where we start?
Coach, how was spring ball?
Spring ball's been great. From a linebacker standpoint, it's been amazing.
What do you think still remains? I asked all the coaches the same thing. What remains top of your checklist? Obviously, one practice, one scrimmage left in
Right.
spring ball going into fall.
It'll be good to see a couple of my younger linebackers going into this live spring game, being able to see them run and tackle. Some guys, that I have in the room are proven, and then I need to see kind of my next tier of linebackers be able to show me, in more of a game-like setting that they can accomplish the task and need.
It seems like for several years you've had proven guys that come back, so that there's not a real big question mark. And then you can talk about how you can develop those young guys. How good is that at the linebacker position to seem to always have guys that have extensive experience, and then the others can be brought along?
Yeah, I mean, we're real boring every year. We got guys that are proven. So you're like, man, we know about Lander, we know about Lavani. Jono's been a great addition. Obviously he got quite a bit of reps last year, but he's definitely expanded his knowledge. Guys like Elijah Ellis, is an up-and-comer that is one that we're still working on and developing. He's going to be a great linebacker for us in the future. Kenai Lopes is another linebacker. There are two guys in the same class, and then we added a few freshmen that are mid-year that are really, showing some really good things in Cyrus Polu. So still a lot to work on. It's nice to have that experience. Like I said, it does get a little bit boring, and they've seen it and done that. And with Lander and Lavani and Jono and Trey Reynolds, those guys have all had game reps, but it's nice to have a lot of the spring reps that you can give to some of those younger guys.
Right. Obviously, Karene played a big leadership role in the linebacker room last year. How have you seen Lander or other guys step up in that role in spring and head into the fall?
Yeah. Two of them that are on the leadership committee, Lavani DeMooney, Lander Barton, have done a great job. Lander's a spring captain as well, but their leadership has grown a lot. They're more outspoken, not just talking to linebackers, but talking to the whole defense a lot more. Their maturity has grown a lot, and they've done a really good job with expanding that part of their game. And even, two guys that haven't kind of been in that leadership role, Jonathan Hall and Trey Reynolds, have done a really good job. And, as linebackers, we have to communicate a lot, whether it's within the play or on the outskirts of a play. We got to communicate a lot, so that leadership role has to be a very important part of what we do.
Lander was obviously a guy that weighed coming back versus potentially going to the draft. Since he's now back, what kind of tangible goals do you have for him and just want to see for him in this final season?
Yeah, well, first off, he's in as good as form as I've had him in the last 4 years. He will be the first to admit his body feels great, his mentality is great, his mindset is great. We've got to achieve a lot of things production-wise, to get him in where he wants to be at that next level. And I think he's ready to do that from, a mental and physical standpoint, so it should be a really good season for him.
How does it change spring operations when you're going now against a different look on the offensive side?
Yeah, it's been good for us actually from a defensive standpoint. In the last 7 years we've faced Andy Ludwig type of offense, which is completely different than this offense. This is a very difficult offense to defend. Very high potency, a lot of moving parts to it, especially from a linebacker eye progression standpoint. And so it's really tested my position and love going against that. It's almost like, man, when I actually see a more of a traditional offense, it's going to be easy to defend compared to what we've been doing every day versus our offense.
How much stress does a quarterback like Devin Dampier put on the defense and linebackers specifically?
Yeah, that's a really good question because, a defense can be perfect and then all of a sudden it breaks down because the quarterback is out there freelancing and breaks you down with his feet and his ability to scramble. So you've got from a front seven defensive line linebackers, you got to be really conscientious where he's at all times because he can hurt you even when you have the perfect defense going. You can have amazing coverage for 3 or 4 seconds and all of a sudden you're thinking you're going to get a sack and there he goes scrambling out to one side and extends a play, and it's just he does a really good job with making us work, especially after 2 or 3 seconds of the play being going.
There was a big point of emphasis on takeaways and that from talking to you guys in week 1. Where do you feel like do you feel like you've seen the development and progress that you wanted this spring in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, Utah defense has always been really good in takeaways, and that's something that we stress and talk about every day with our guys. We practice it and we promote it. We show the kids where they can be better, and we show the kids of what they're doing great. And just that open communication with the guys every practice, every meeting, and it's all about the ball. As this game, as you guys know, all about getting the ball back to our offense. So that's a huge thing that's been a point of emphasis and will continue to be.
Going back to the mobile quarterback, how much does it make you maybe your life easier, as you get into season where you might be facing, more mobile quarterbacks, knowing that you guys have one in-house?
Yeah, I mean, when they're a sitting duck back there in the pocket, it makes it pretty easy for the defensive line and the linebackers to get to them. But, quarterbacks like Devin have, they pose a problem when it comes to breaking out of the pocket and making us pay. It's been very difficult to defend them, and it's really good for us because in the Big 12, there's quite a few quarterbacks that are very similar to him. So it's very good practice that we get every day on them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.